Welcome back to Purple and Gold Zone, episode number 15. And no, this is not an episode where we talk about the offseason. This is not an episode where we talk about current potential free agents to look at. This is not an episode where we talk about the draft. This is an episode where we talk about our boys in the Western Conference Finals. If you are here since episode 1, or even since maybe episode 9 or 10, we weren't quite sure at that point if we would be here, but we made it, and that's all that matters. Plenty of exciting things to talk about today, going over the Western Conference Finals as well as a couple other topics as well. But before we go into that, I want to plug my other projects. First and foremost, I have a new episode of the Connor and Heffernan Show dropping this Friday, the 19th. The Connor and Heffernan Show, if you're not familiar with it, is a show where we talk all sports: NHL, MLB, college football, college basketball, NFL, NBA. We talk about it all. You can watch the whole show, or in the description and at the beginning of the episode, it shows you where every single segment is at. So if you just want to watch the NBA part or the MLB part, you can click on it, go to that and watch it. Make sure you tune in this Friday, the Connor and Heffernan Show. You can find it on YouTube, same YouTube as Purple and Gold Zone, or on Spotify, the C&H Show Season 2. Check it out. Another project I'm currently doing is Well Beyond the Arc, which is on the Yankee and the Brit YouTube page. Lots of great content. They have MMA shows, NFL shows, lots of great content on the Yankee and the Brit. Check it out. Tuesdays or Wednesdays, we go live at 7 p.m. Central on Well Beyond the Arc, where we talk all things NBA. Obviously, we have gotten through all the exciting multiple games of basketball every day, and now we only are left with the conference finals, but still plenty of exciting things to talk about. So make sure you check out Well Beyond the Arc and the Connor and Heffernan Show. But now, I probably don't even have to say this, but I'm going to anyway. It's time to dive into LA basketball. Let's go. So, first and foremost, Lakers versus Warriors. Lots of hype was built into this series. And of course, and honestly, it did not disappoint. It was very back and forth. And it actually was so back and forth that it brought us from a 3-1 lead, where it looked like we could really close it out, back to a 3-2 lead that brought us back to crypto. Lakers were prepared, though. The Lakers were absolutely ready for this Game 6. When I saw LeBron James show up so early, and this team so locked in, you could see it even before the game started. This team was locked in and ready to go. The Warriors, on the other hand, I've got my doubts on that, because this team played terribly. You would not have been able to guess that this was a team that just won a championship, which, if I'm being honest, that's for the whole season. That is from October to now. You could have fooled me in telling me the Warriors just won a chip. So, anyway, first and foremost, Klay Thompson. Game 6 Klay, who averages 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists in Game 6s. 8 points, 3 for 19 field goal percentage, and 2 for 12 from 3. He played absolutely terribly. Is this the new Game 6 Klay? Because yikes, I don't think the Warriors want to invest long-term if that's the new Game 6 Klay. Andrew Wiggins, 6 points, 2 for 8, and 0 for 3 from 3. Abysmal. Terrible. This is the guy that was supposed to help save your season, and that was not it. Draymond Green, honestly, Draymond Green had a decent performance. I mean, Donkey is not that good anymore anyway. I call him Donkey. People, you already know. If you know anything about the NBA, you know why I'm calling him Donkey Green. Draymond, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. 4 for 8, field goal, 1 for 3 from 3. Not great at all, not great by any means, but still better performance than Andrew Wiggins put up, better performance than Klay Thompson put up. The only player that played like a championship-level player or like a warrior, by the Warriors' standards, was Steph Curry. And that's just expected. He is that guy. 32 points. I mean, he fought. He was the only player that was keeping them in at all. Not Jordan Poole, not Kevon, Mr. Rebound Looney, not Klay Game 6 Thompson, not Andrew Wiggins, none of these players. This was not a team that played championship player type basketball like you expected. This was not a team that came together and played like you expected them to. Again, really, in my opinion, the whole season. Now, on the other hand, the Lakers, which we would not be having this conversation from October to even March, but the Lakers showed up and showed out and proved that they were the better team. First and foremost, LeBron James had his best game of the playoffs so far. Yes, he had that 20 rebound game, but we're talking about overall, this was LeBron's best game. 30 points, 2 for 3 from 3. The fact that he only took 3 threes and he only missed one is awesome. That right there is one of the reasons the Lakers won by so much. And I'm not joking. I'm being dead serious. When LeBron shoots a bunch of bricks, that puts them in such jeopardy, especially against a team like the Warriors. But he was really good from three. 2 for 3, 10 for 14 field goal percentage, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Absolutely all-around performance. Austin Reeves had himself 23 points. Anthony Davis, take the Disney out. It's Anthony Davis. It's no longer AD. It's no longer Mr. Injury, Mr. Glassman. It is Anthony Davis. 17 points, 20 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. A monster performance that didn't just keep us in this game, it kept us ahead in this game. He, in the last 3 games, 43 minutes, 32 minutes, and 40 minutes. Is this Anthony Davis? Because that is the most durable and the most consistent Anthony Davis has played minutes-wise in 3 games. Ever as a Laker. I mean, I know he's had stretches that have been good, but for me, he is showing up when it matters because we've seen him, even if it's not an injury, if he goes and he's in for 40-plus minutes, he can absolutely bomb at the next game. He did not do that. He was locked in the whole series. D'Angelo Russell had himself a really, really good game. 19 points. The thing that I like most, though, is he also had himself a steal, an assist, and 2 rebounds. He was getting it done on multiple sides of the floor, really, really helping keep us up. Rui Hachimura had himself a pretty good game with 9 points. Lonnie Walker had himself a 13-piece. I really like that we got Lonnie Walker more minutes. We got him 14 minutes. He deserved those minutes. He's been playing really solid, even when we have not won games during the regular season. People forget that Lonnie Walker was a pretty decently high spot of the season even early on. Now, my biggest problem with Lonnie Walker is his inconsistencies. Maybe that played a role in him losing minutes. Maybe it was just how we beefed up our roster. But I'm glad he's getting those minutes because he did help us, adding on 13 points and really making a difference. Lots of touches on the ball. It was a really, really good game all the way across the board. The Lakers showed up and showed out, winning 122-101. They were never once in that game behind or losing, whether that be momentum or score-wise. They were always ahead by at least 1 or 2 steps the whole game. Another thing we have to talk about, we talked about LeBron James being more consistent from 3. Let's talk about the Lakers' three-point percentage versus the Warriors in Game 6. I'm going to say 2 percentages, and I'm going to let you guys guess which is which. 50% from 3 and 27.1% from 3. I'll give y'all 3 seconds to think about who's who. If you said 27.1 was the Lakers' percentage, well, obviously you didn't see the score. That was the Golden State Warriors. The Los Angeles Lakers shot 50% from 3. Part of the Lakers' struggles, part of them, not all of them, have been their 3-point struggles. Even when they won the championship, they had 3-point struggles. Even when they won in the bubble, they had 3-point struggles. They really cleaned it up and looked a lot better as a team this series. They had some rough performances. LeBron had some games where he shot way too many threes. They had some games where they were missing too many threes. But as an entire team, this is the best this team has looked from 3 in the LeBron James and AD era. And like I said before, I don't know if it was before the playoffs started or while we were in round 1, the winner of this championship, whether that be conference or total, is going to have 2 things in their favor: consistent threes and a big man that is putting in the work. So far, the Los Angeles Lakers in round 2 took round 1. They had some 3-point troubles. AD was a little hot and cold, and they built up from that. And they looked so much better top to bottom this series. Whether that be 3, whether that be big man, they looked so much better. And we are 150% going to need it, because now our next and final Western Conference opponent, the only opponent standing in our way from going back to the NBA Finals for the first time since the bubble, is the same team that stood in our way in the bubble. The Denver Nuggets, the number 1 team in the Western Conference. Do the Lakers really have a shot against that best team, or will their luck run out? Is it even luck, or is it just a team that's having a late start and looking like the team they were always supposed to be? Let's get into that next. Lakers versus Nuggets. Possibly one of the best modern rivalries we have that isn't even considered a rivalry. This is not considered an official NBA rivalry, but these teams have gone head-to-head in the playoffs or just in the regular season so many times within the last 5 years and given us some great games, whether that be overtime, blowouts, exciting series. This has been one of the best current new rivalries that, again, I don't even think this is considered a rivalry. This really truly is not. It's not considered a rivalry in the league, but to me, that's exactly what this is, because this team has gone head to head as recently playoff wise as the 2020 conference finals. Now we know how that ended up. The Lakers ended up on top, but when we look back at that actual series, game 1, which first and foremost, again, this was the bubble. This did not take place at a regular time. This took place in September. Game 1 of the 2020 finals, the Lakers won 126-114 in Game 1, 105-103 in Game 2. Denver took Game 3, 114-106. The Lakers took Game 4, 114-108. And the Lakers took Game 5, 117-107, winning the series in 5 games. Now, first and foremost, I'm not looking at this like this is the same as that season. That was the bubble. I am not one of the people out there that believes that the bubble deserves an asterisk when we talk about championships. I think that is a fair and square NBA championship, and if it deserves any type of different recognition, it's not in a bad way. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's an NBA championship, but it was a very unique, different experience that I'm sure everyone hopes does not happen again, both players and fans. But still, in my personal opinion, I truly think that that was a really, really, really exciting NBA playoffs. Lakers took it in 5. Are we going to take... I'm going to answer that question right now. Are we going to take it in 5 this season? Absolutely not. This is going to be a 6 or 7 game series, just as the Grizzlies was and just as the Warriors one was. This is going to be a 6 or 7 game series because these Western Conference teams were too good during the regular season for it to be a 5-game win. It's not going to be a 5-game win or a 4-game win. There is just no way. Whether you are a Nuggets or a Lakers fan, this is going 6 or 7, just like the last 2 series went. Looking at the Nuggets as a team, they are first in the Western Conference, and they are coming off of a very impressive win over a Kevin Durant-led Suns. Too many people started saying, oh yeah, Suns are winning the chip. Here's the problem with that. The Suns have some very injury-prone / aging players with Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, who missed a little bit of his first little stint with the Suns. And they also are just really inconsistent, didn't have enough time to mesh. And so when I saw that they were playing the Nuggets, I knew that was it. I knew that their season was coming to an end, especially with Chris Paul being out and just them not playing extremely fantastic and extremely proficient basketball in the playoffs. Even against the Clippers, they didn't look super proficient or super dangerous. So the Suns losing to the Nuggets was no surprise. The Nuggets won in 6 games, absolutely killing the Suns in that final game, leaving zero shadow of a doubt who the better team was. And looking at their last game, winning 125-100 against the Suns, they had some big performances. That's the momentum that the Lakers. So this is the first time that this team has actually gone head-to-head against an actual star-level big man like Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic, runner-up for the MVP, won it 2 years in a row, averaged a triple-double. This guy is the real deal. This might be the reason I'm so excited for this series, no matter what the outcome is, because we are going to see a rematch, first of all, of the 2020 conference finals, and second of all, Anthony Davis versus Jokic is going to be electric. If Anthony Davis can stay healthy and play his level of basketball, it is going to be an absolute battle. Because yes, Nikola Jokic deserves his respect, 150%. I have gone, honestly, I can say this very confidently now. I have been a Jokic, not a hater, and not even a doubter, but someone that has thought he's a little overrated and didn't deserve to win 2 MVPs in a row. Now, he's a top-level NBA talent, so he, of course, is deserving of everything he has. But in my personal opinion, he was not a back-to-back MVP winner caliber type of player. But this last season, arguably, he played a brand of basketball that I actually think is more MVP worthy than his other two. He played phenomenal basketball, and this Denver Nuggets team looked absolutely primed to take it all throughout the whole season. They were the most consistent Western Conference team in the entire league, while all these other teams were bouncing. The New Orleans Pelicans, if you can believe it, were second at one time. The Dallas Mavericks were. While all these teams were bouncing around trying to find their home, the Denver Nuggets did not budge the entire season. And that is that's scary. If you're a Lakers fan, you're a little bit worried about that because the Warriors were not that team. The Grizzlies, yes, they stayed decently consistent the whole regular season, but they were not that team. The Denver Nuggets, this is the season where they look the most amped and ready to win a championship that they ever have. And now the number 7 seeded Los Angeles Lakers are going head-to-head against them. What I'm going to say is this. Like I just said, maybe the biggest key of this series and the entire playoffs is Anthony Davis showing up. It goes farther and it's a bigger deal in this series because Denver has that player that is going to also show up in that position. But it also is the same in any series because Anthony Davis is supposed to be our guy. And so we need him to show up every series, but especially a series against a player like Jokic. That's the first key. The second key is the same exact key that won and helped us win not just Game 6, because it won us Game 6 and helped us win the entire series against the Warriors, and that is more consistency from 3. We still had our not very great games against the Warriors. We still looked a little bit like the Lakers that we have looked like from 3, which is not good, but it was better, and it looked more consistent, and they looked more like they are ready to continue that level of play. And shooting 50% from 3 in Game 6 is a really, really good momentum booster to take over. The Los Angeles Lakers need to be consistent from 3. And I'm sorry, LeBron James, that does not mean you should shoot threes, or at least shoot a lot of threes every game. When LeBron James is shooting 7 to 9 threes, you can expect him to make 2 to 3 of those. If LeBron keeps it at 2 to 3 threes, you can probably expect him to hit 1 to 2 of those. That's a lot better than going 2 for 8 or 3 for 9 or something like that. We need to see LeBron James shooting less threes, making better decisions from 3, and we also need to see the other players shooting from 3. The players that should be shooting from 3, the D'Angelo Russells, the Austin Reeves, the Rui Hachimuras, feed them the ball, let them shoot 3. It is going to be so crucial, especially with Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic defensively holding down the fort in the paint. We need to use the outside to our advantage. So, staying consistent, using it to our advantage, and not relying on LeBron James, because he is great, and he will feed the ball to the person that's open and do a fantastic job of that. But LeBron James should not be shooting at 9 threes a game. And on the flip side, Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Malik Beasley, yes, he's had not the greatest showing so far, other than showing up and being, the stepdad that Scottie Pippen Jr. doesn't probably want to have. He's not done much other than make the media for that. He had a couple of decent shooting games, but he is very Danny Green, Wesley Matthews, have a couple of decent three-point shootings, and then that's it. So all I'm saying is this. We need to be active people to take those shots. And that is not LeBron James. LeBron James, I have no problem if he shoots. Again, the reason it worked so well against the Warriors in Game 6 was because we were ahead. He would shoot those threes at the right time. We were not losing by 10. We were not in a battle. We had a good, consistent, stronghold on the lead. If we have a stronghold on the lead, I don't care who's shooting threes. It just has to be at the right time and by the right people. Another factor that no team has had to worry about since the bubble, really, is Jamal Murray is back. Jamal Murray deserves this whole team. I'm sorry. I am a Lakers fan. Die hard. Till the day I die, I am going to love the Lakers and only really love the Lakers as a team completely. But the Denver Nuggets deserve their flowers no matter what happens. Because Jamal Murray, people were saying that he was a bubble player. He had great success in the bubble, and that was really that. What people have failed to remember is Murray has had a lot of really, really, really serious, not serious, but a lot of more considered more serious injuries as an NBA player, especially as of recent. And he has bounced back, and he is possibly having one of his best, if not his best seasons he has ever had as a player. And that comes after so many different injuries, so many different setbacks. And he has been playing phenomenal basketball in these playoffs. When we talk about players that have been playing consistent basketball in these playoffs, it's Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is dangerous. Jamal Murray has been playing consistent basketball that makes him potentially the most dangerous guard we have gotten in these playoffs yet. Curry will give you threes. Curry will give you hell. Yes, Ja Morant, he's a shooter. No joke intended, but if you hear about the recent situation going on with him, I guess you can take that as a pun. But no, Ja Morant is also a shooter. He's also an aggressive, very talented point guard, but he is not as consistent or as all the way around as Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a very much all the way around point guard that offers so much to the table and offers so many good things to the team that he plays for, which, lucky for Denver, is the Nuggets. He has offered up so much for that team, and now he is really, really looking like he is ready to try to lead them to this chip. And so the biggest factor out here is going to be locking up Jamal Murray. Not just locking Jamal Murray up, but also trying to take away his options, because he is a very good guard at making quick decisions when it comes to passing and what he wants to do on the floor. I wouldn't call him so much as a floor general by nature, but he does have the innate ability to make those quick decisions that work. So we need to pressure him. We don't need to double him, but we need traps. We need to trap him, and we need to trap him, and we need to play that Laker level of defense that we have somehow woken up in the last 2 months. So staying on Murray, really, really, really pressuring him like we have pressured Curry, like we pressured Ja Morant. Pressuring those guards is huge. We need to keep pressure on Murray the whole time. Another factor in this game is going to be our bench needs to show up. One of the things about Denver that has made them such a dangerous team is they are a deep team. Whether or not all of their players will show up every game or not is not what I'm trying to say, because all NBA teams, you're not going to have all of your players show up every game. But when we look at this team as a whole, they are one of the deepest units in the NBA, and possibly, definitely, in the West as a whole, I would say they're the deepest team. That is why they had the most success this last season, because of how deep they are and how well orchestrated this team has been. This has been a slow burn. There has been a slow burn in Denver that has been growing slowly and slowly and slowly, and now it is here. The slow burn is this Nuggets team. It took time, but they have built an extremely capable first and second unit. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that our Lakers team has the same exact second unit at the moment. We did not at the beginning of the season, but we have a very capable, strong second unit that is ready to make some noise. Our second unit needs to show up because Denver's will. Whether that means all of their second unit will or not, that's not what I'm trying to say. But players from Denver's second unit are going to show up, especially if the first unit draws blood. If the first unit draws blood, you will see this second unit come out and continue that momentum. Much like the Lakers in their series against the Warriors and the Grizzlies, when the Lakers would get on a roll, their second unit would smell that blood and they'd keep it going. We need to have that same mentality versus the Nuggets, because that's the same exact mentality they're going to have. Their second unit's going to show up no matter what that means. How many minutes, how many points, whatever that means, their second unit is going to show up because Denver is one of, if not the deepest teams in the West. It is going to be a battle. It is going to be hard fought. Game 1 is in Denver. I like that. I love that. We need to go head to head. We need to go to this opposing teams, the best team in the West house first, and prove who we are. I don't have an issue with that at all. I think that's good. We have plenty of time to rest. We've had plenty of time to recoup. Now it is time to show them what we're really about. Game 1, as I record, is tomorrow. And here's what I'm going to say. If the Lakers can truly do everything that I just said, if Anthony Davis can show up, if we can make smart decisions from three, but that doesn't mean not shooting. I'm sorry. We've got to shoot. We need to shoot. If we can make smart decisions, put the ball in the right person's hand from three, hit those shots, if we can accurately cover Murray and also cut off some of his options, and also if our second unit can show up, I've got the Lakers winning this in 7. The reason I have this going to 7 is for the same exact reason that this segment has taken so long and why I've talked about the Nuggets so much. I don't usually talk about an opposing team and give this much praise to an opposing team, but the Denver Nuggets are the best team in the West. We're not taking them down in 4. We're not taking them down in 5. I don't even think we're taking them down in 6. I think this is going to be a long, hard-fought series that goes 7. And I've got the Los Angeles Lakers advancing to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2020 in 7 games. This will be a hard-fought series. This will be our biggest challenge. But if we are as real of a deal as I think we are, we will have no issue taking this series in 7 and going back to the NBA Finals for the first time since the bubble. The success the Los Angeles Lakers had during the playoffs got Russell Westbrook and Pat Bev talking on social media, and Russell Westbrook was the first one out saying, and adding Patrick Beverley, saying if the Lakers win a championship, I want a ring as well. And then Patrick Beverley chimed in and said something as well back in regards to wanting an NBA championship if the Los Angeles Lakers do in fact win. This is what I'll say right off the bat. NBA teams are known to give rings to players that were not with them the whole season, whether it be right before the deadline or wherever it's at. If the player was with your team for at least the first half, they usually will have the option of getting a ring. A good example of this is just from our 2020 championship. DeMarcus Cousins never even laced up with the Lakers, wasn't even with us in the playoffs, and he still got his championship ring. Now, I had no problem with that. It wasn't like he wasn't getting minutes, he wasn't a good fit. He wasn't like a Patrick Beverley or a Russell Westbrook, where he wasn't a good fit or he wasn't getting the minutes or this and that. He was injured. What I will say is this. Russell Westbrook is an NBA legend who did seem to try to convert to Ham's lineup idea of putting him on the bench. He did seem like he really tried to take that to heart and work, and the team as a whole was the problem. It wasn't Russell Westbrook. It wasn't even Patrick Beverley. It was the team as a whole. We did not have a very well put together team, and that was because of the standstill and because of the hold that Russell Westbrook contract had over us and just everything else. We just were not in a good place at the beginning of the season. I feel like, honestly, it was kind of a, hey, this is what we can get, this is what we can start with, and then Rob Pelinka actually did something useful for once and turned it into something good. But do I think they deserve championship rings? Here's what I'm going to say. Of the players that are not with us anymore, there is only one player that I look at and I say, that guy deserves an NBA championship ring. And that's not Patrick Beverley. That's not Thomas Bryant. That's not Damian Jones. That's Russell Westbrook. The reason Russell Westbrook, in my personal opinion, does deserve a championship, which, by the way, the NBA/the Lakers have already announced that both Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook will get rings if they win. So this isn't an argument on it's up in the air. They still might not both get one. These players might not. No. More than likely, any of the Los Angeles Lakers that were with them until at least the deadline will probably get the option of having a ring. And most of those players, because they probably won't win another one, or at least it might take a minute, or maybe they'll have to go overseas to win another championship. Most of those players, like the Kendrick Nunns, Damian Jones, they'll take that. They'll definitely take a ring. And whatever. Hey, I never swam a second in college, and I got a conference ring, so I got it. I understand. Having a ring is having a ring. You know what I'm saying? Having a ring is having a ring. But the only player, in my personal opinion, that actually deserves a championship ring for their contributions to the Lakers is Russell Westbrook. Was it fantastic? Absolutely not. Was I happy that we moved on from him? Absolutely. But he was not the biggest problem in our organization. Our biggest problem as an organization was we had won a championship in 2020, did not run it back, went even farther back the next season, and then we were left in a really tricky spot financially and otherwise on how to move forward. We made it work. Again, I've roasted Pelinka. I'm not a big Rob Pelinka guy still. He did get it done, and he really did a good job of turning our silver into gold. Seriously. I mean, not even our bronze. He turned our bronze into gold. And respect to him for that. But Russell Westbrook, throughout all of it, was just truly not in the right system for him. I don't think Russell Westbrook is a player that can fully be a second unit player completely. Russell Westbrook still has that starting in him. He still has that starting aura about him. He wants to be a starter. He thinks he should be a starter. And he played pretty decent basketball for the Clippers, I will admit. He still had his Russell Westbrook moments because he's always had those moments. Don't let the triple-double and all of that, the averaging the triple-doubles, the MVPs, the finals, don't let that fool you. He's always been that inconsistent player. We've just looked past it because of his massive success with triple-doubles, MVPs. We've looked past it. Without any of that, it's hard to look past it. But he did look more like OG Russell Westbrook when he went to the Clippers. And I truly think it's about the system, it's about the coach, it's about all of that. And I'm not saying Darvin Ham is a bad coach, because honestly, with where we're at now, I think Ham is one of the better coaches in the NBA. I truly think that. And I've thought that even since before we were in the playoffs. But I just don't think it was a good fit for him. And I think that Russell Westbrook will not remain a Clipper. I do think that he will go somewhere else. I don't know where that'll be, but I do think that he will end up on a different team, and he will be in that starting unit, and he will get to show off his skills again. And I'm excited. I love seeing Russell Westbrook play for a team like the Wizards and just go off and lead the team in all stats. I'd love to see that. That was never going to be him with the Lakers. So just a bad fit. But he gave us an entire season of Lakers basketball where he was trying to win with his style, and then he gave us half a season when he was converting to Ham's very well thought out plan that didn't really formulate until we got those players off. But he tried to do that plan, had a couple of good games, and then that was that. But I truly do think Russell Westbrook deserves a ring. Selfishly, I also want him to have that just to add to his accolades, because once he has that, I mean, come on now, that is, you can't argue that that's one of the best point guards of all time, at least accolade-wise. Maybe you can argue, obviously, statistic-wise, and, who he is as a player, and overall, you can argue that, but accolade-wise, throw a ring on there, and my goodness, that guy is Hall of Fame. I mean, his resume is untouchable. So I would love to see Russell Westbrook get a championship ring. Now, Patrick Beverley, come on, man. This is the only way that guy is ever going to get a championship. So I guess I understand. I guess I do, but I don't really think like the Juan Toscano Andersons, the Patrick Beverleys, the Kendrick Nunns, like, in my personal opinion, these are not players that I would think deserve to get a championship ring. But it's not up to me. It's up to the Lakers. It's up to that. And it's up to even if they win it. I mean, if they even win one. It's still up to the basketball gods, and if we even see them in the playoffs or in the finals, I mean. Or it's also up to the refs. It depends on if the refs want us in there or not, and they give us 20-plus more free throws than another team. It also depends on that. But no. At the end of the day, it's not up for me to decide, obviously. It is honestly up to the Lakers to decide if they can actually move on and get in a championship spot. But at the end of the day, it does make sense to award some of these players championships. And at the end of the day, you can't pick and choose. Obviously, there's a great chance that we will see a Patrick Beverley championship ring post on Instagram. So just prepare yourselves for that, because I feel like it might be coming potentially, especially if the Lakers can make it through the Western Conference Finals. I think that we might be set up to be where we were supposed to be. So I can very well see another championship. Number 18, come on now, that would look nice. Number 18 for us, number 1 and only for Patrick Beverley, probably number 1 and only for Russell Westbrook, and probably number 1 and only for all those players that would end up with one.